Evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone on today? We are back here on this week with, yes, I'm on. We are back here on this week. As always, the enemy will try to do some things to, be detrimental to what we're doing, but we are back here again, and I'm so glad that I discovered other avenues before we started again. So we just want to welcome you again back to the Lions Den. I'm going to turn this down and we're going to begin the way that we want to. And my name is Benjamin Gaines, and I am the host of the Lions Den. I always wanted to do something that was going to bring some clarity to life's issues, some real things that we go through during life that we do not discuss in many arenas. Many people do not want to discuss what we need to discuss, but what is forced to discuss or things like that. And a lot of times we miss addressing the real issues. We miss addressing things that are going to help us as opposed to being simply conversation, or as opposed to being anything that is not helping us in any kind of way. Like if we're not growing, then we may as well not be living. And so we want to address what exactly is the Lions Den. As I explained the last time, the Lions Den was a place that the prophet Daniel was thrown into because he decided to pray to the Most High God of Israel. And the people that were working alongside of him did not want him to pray to anyone but the king. So they went to the king and said to him, why don't we do a 30-day thing so that put out a decree that anyone that will pray to anyone beside the king will be thrown into the pit of lions and be devoured and everything. So the king was like, okay, that's cool. It's no problem with me. And he put the decree out. And Daniel, like I said, was still praying to the Lord of Israel. And he prayed 3 times a day. And so they went, and while looking through his window, they told the king that, hey, this man that you put up here is still praying to the God of Israel and not to you. Shalom. He said that, well, I cannot go back on my decree. So what we have to do is we have to throw him in the den of the lions, like I said before. And so Daniel was there, but thankfully the Most High closed the mouth of the lions while he was in there. And they had even put a stone before the door so he could not get out. Even if the lions were chasing him and he tried to escape, he would not be able to get out. All the while, the king, while he was asleep that night, he could not sleep. So while he was trying to rest, he could not sleep because he had some true, regards for Daniel, the prophet. And when he got up early in the morning, he rushed to the tomb and said, Daniel, son of the Most High God, are you still alive? And Daniel replied, long live the king. So just to let you know that people will attempt to throw you in places because you speak the truth, because you do true things. They will attempt to try to get you in trouble with someone else. They will attempt to try to let you go in situations that will be detrimental to you because you do speak the truth. But if you're not afraid to go into the Lions Den by telling the truth, then come and join us in the Lions Den where we discuss true issues. We discuss real things that are going on. We discuss things that are going to help us, that some people say if they're not cute, then they're not real, or should not be said. But that is not how we get down. We want to get down in the truth and do things that are going to help us. And like I said before, this is not a church program, even though I definitely will implement the word in a lot of things because that's who I am. And I don't want us to take away from the truth by trying to be the church. So we need to address things just as we see it in life. We just ask that you be respectful when you come on. We ask that you listen, that we stay on topics or things that are going to help with what we're discussing on this day. So we definitely want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming out. We're going to talk about something today that is going to be, I think is going to be beneficial to many lives. We were speaking to some people on Saturday, and I'm the type of person that I listen to music. I love listening to music, and I play my list at night so that I can rest. And the song from Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's one of my favorite bands came on, and it's called After the Love Is Gone. And when you start thinking of the words that was spoken in that song, it was like, wow, like what, this is a real issue that goes on with real people who are not afraid to say that it actually happens to them. And so we're going to be talking about how to deal with or what to do, and even where it began, or the genesis, the Bereshit of what happens after the love has gone. It doesn't mean it's dead, because even if something is dead, things that are dead have gotten resurrected. And so we need to know how to get things back from the death, how we need to breathe back life into what it seems to be dead, or how that it pretty much means when the light is dimming. What do you do after the love is gone? When my light is dimming out, when things are not the ways that they used to be, when we see things differently, when you're no longer my boo like you used to, when I'm no longer your king like I used to be, and things like that in relationships, not only in relationships, but family relationships as well. You can even apply this to your job. Like I said in Daniel, the people that worked alongside with him did not want him to be in the place that he was. So what happens when you lose your zealousness for what you used to be so happy about, what you used to be so in cahoots, like everything just starts falling apart. So after the love has gone, you know, what do you do? And so because that, I want to say, firstly, love is a pair. You need two things, two persons, or whatever like that to love. Love is not anything that I can do by myself. There has to be two parties involved, two persons, two people, two stats, whatever like that. Anything can don't only be affected if there are more than one person there. So I definitely have to address that we're speaking of my love for you, your love for me, our love for them, however you want to accept it. But we're not talking about self-love this time. We're talking about love for someone else, love that we have to give out and be reciprocated in. What happens when I'm giving something and I'm not being reciprocated? When it's not being returned back to me in the same manner, even if the deeds are there? What happens when it's not being returned in the same manner that it's given? Because people can do things to keep you shut up. Just be quiet, man. Let me do this, get you out of my face or whatever like that. But what happens when I don't feel the love? When I don't feel the love, because love is like, I'll use this analogy, like a pair of shoes that you have when it's new. When the shoes are new, you keep it good in the box, and you make sure that you have one set this way, the other one set that way. It's nice and tucked away in the box and put away in your closet so that nothing touches it, because those are your nice new pair of shoes. You put them on really carefully and everything, and you want to make sure that those shoes are not in any kind of way going to get messed up. But when you do see later on, you have taken those shoes out the box, you have done things like, okay, I'm going to slide them on my foot, and now I can see the little steps in it that I had them on my foot with no problem or whatever like that, and then I may come in and leave them at the door. The next thing you know is when I put them on, then I stepped on the back of them and everything, and so now one is upstairs, one is downstairs, because the value of what that shoe meant to you initially is not there. And it's not that you don't like the shoes, it's just that they have gotten common to you. Let me put some music on behind me. Because when things get common to you, it's like a new toy. You know, once you learn how to play with the toy, if the toy doesn't stay new to you, then you stop getting excited about seeing it. You know, and we do that a lot with our relationships and the places that we're at. You know what I mean? Oh man, I'm glad I got this job. I'm so happy, you know, I'm blessed. Oh, thank you, Lord, I got this new job and I just love my boss and this and that, you know. And then when things start turning around, where you have to see some things like how my boss yelled at me today, then you're like, man, I got to get up and go to this job. I can't stand these people at this job. And everything turns around, because in the Genesis part of things, everything is exciting and new and joyful, and you know, you just cannot wait to get to places that that we're at. You know what I mean? And so now we're wondering what happens when I have to work, but I don't like my job like I used to. I appreciate that I have a job, but I'm not so excited about going to that job. Relationships are a job. They are a job. And so we may appreciate having that job, but we don't love going to it like we used to. Because now the boss that appreciated you so much doesn't mind how they talk to you. The boss that you love to make sure that you presented all your paperwork and everything like that, I'll get to you when I get to you. You know what I mean? And we get these type of mindsets that we stop taking care of things the way that we used to do. And as a result, our lights have gone down and it has gotten dimmer. And now we do not have the same feeling that we used to have. Even though we have the same job, even though we may even get promotions on what we do, that strongness, or that strength, I should say, in my proper English, is not there. And so what do? I have to work. Actually, I want to work. I like working. I like the benefits that come from my job. But when I have to think about what I have to deal with in this job, sometimes I want to go on unemployment because the situations are not the way that they used to be. It seems worse, even though we do more, even though I've gotten a raise, even though I've gotten my promotions, it seems like it is less fulfilling for me. And so I'm going to start because, like I said, we discussed that word love. You know what I mean? It is a difference between old love and new love. Like I said, old love is how you felt. New love is how you should feel or how you are feeling, how I will feel. Because, like, again, when things start getting old, even as an old person, what happens? I can't move around like I used to. I can't do the things that I used to. And it's like, man, guess what? Let me write out my insurance because I'm not going to be here too long. That's when things seem old to us. And life is just like that. So what is love? The word ahava, like I said, I'm going to have to get to some scripture, is love. Ahava is the Hebraic mind, is very different from today's culture. These are notes that I took. In Hebrew, it is connected directly with action and obedience. Let's refer this back. Action and obedience. Because love is both a noun and a verb. We can say, I love you. That's the noun part. Or that's the verb part. You know what I mean? Do you love me? That's the noun part. He shows me love. That's the noun part. But I am in love with you is the verb part. He shows me so much love. Things like that. When we put the verb in it, it has a different meaning for it. Love is the intensity of personal attraction from one person to the other. I am loving you. Man, I'm loving the way that you look. That's the verb part of what love is. I'm really loving how you do it. But did you ever think that I love my coffee? So love as the noun does not really hold too much substance as it should mean to the person that I'm in a relationship with. Do I love the noun, my coffee, like I love the noun, my spouse? Then what does that say to me? My spouse is like a cup of coffee. Because my spouse, as I'm going to read something, is not what I'm feeling like I need to survive anymore. When I used to sit up at night and wonder what they were doing. when I used to sit, like, write their names down during the day and all those different type of things. And now I might text you during the day. It says it brings from the mind the idea of longing for and breathing for another. Breathing for another. That means I feel like you are my life. You make my heart pump. This is how much my intensity or my personal attraction is when I am in love. When I am showing love, or when I am loving you, then you are like breathing to me. You are what makes my heart pump. When I think about you, my heart is jumping. You know, ahava, like I said, is the verb and the noun. You know, the noun is doing it. The verb is what it is. I mean, the noun is what it is. The verb is what you're doing. You know, love is understanding, and it is examining the other person. Is believing in them, wanting to hear what you have to say, wanting to know what you mean by things, even if it's boring to me, even if I'd much rather be doing something else, because you're saying it, I'm going to listen. And later on, it becomes as if something like, would you hurry up and finish, because I got things to do. Like, the game is on and I don't feel like, hearing this all the time. Like, can you please not take so long talking about what you feel like talking about, especially your job, because I do not want to hear about your job. I'm not married to your job. I'm married to you. I'm not in a relationship with the people on your job. I don't even want to hear about them. Please do not bring that home, because now your home becomes your job, and now your job becomes this home that is supposed to be both of our sanctities. And we were talking about this on this weekend, and it was funny how when you think you're the only one who has experienced things, because once again, people will act like they do not have or have not experienced these type of issues. And so nothing has gotten resolved, because like I said, we can solve things or we can let the Lord resolve things. Now I can solve things. That means I'm leaving, I'm out. That's me solving, But if you let him resolve it, that means I'm going to let him find the solution to the issue. So there's a difference between solve and resolve. He will bring the solution. I will bring the end. You know what I mean? When we work together, we try to find a common ground, a solution to what the issue is, but only if we address that there is an issue. Psychologically, we have lost out the fact of saying that we have issues, because to us, situations make us feel like we're weaker than. I'm not as strong as, I'm not as potent as, when it only shows that you have enough strength to say that you have an issue. If you go to an AA meeting, you would have to say, my name is Benjamin and I'm an alcoholic. They make you firstly confess to what the issue is. I'm an alcoholic. Say it. Because if you say it, then I can work on what your issue is. And that's what we have to stop doing, hiding behind this perfection that we want to perceive, or we want others to perceive about who we are, And this is why when the other party can look at you in your perfection and know what's going on in the truth, then the love starts to dimmer down a little more. It's because, hey, I don't need to seem perfect. I have issues. I have some real issues that we need to try to resolve. If we work together, we can try to, seek a solution. But if we're sitting there acting like there's no problem, then we can't come to a solution. Like I explained to my sister the other day, people who study autopsies, they are able to find out why things happen. But it has to be somebody dead that they work on. Doctors learn how to find out how to heal by someone being sick. And so our solutions come from our hard parts, the issues that we face. Even if you listen to bedtime stories that we used to hear, and they all lived happily ever after. in order to live happily ever after, that means there had to be a rough beginning. And that's why we need to face the truth about love. Love is good when it's new love. But how do we keep it new when we're old? What do we do? So it says love is emotions and behavior characterized by intimacy, passion, and commitment. Intimacy, our closeness, our bond that we share together that nobody has between us but us. Passion, my desire, the way that I show you things, the way that we embrace each other, the way that we talk to each other, and commitment. Am I committed to outside more than I'm committed to inside? And then I wonder why my light is getting dimmer, because I seem to be paying more attention to something or someone outside than I'm paying to the one that is here with me. And so I'm coming back saying love, the verb, when I'm doing love, the noun. And so what's happening, you're not feeling the way that you used to be. And now I'm saying to you, back when you used to love me. And then you're thinking, back when you used to give me a reason to love you. You know what I mean? Because now I'm that old pair of shoes that you kick away, that you used to cover, that you used to guard, that you used to put away, that you used to do everything to make us feel good, to make it feel like that I was valuable to you. And even sometimes when we have new shoes, we put the box on the shelf up high. Now, one of them in the basement, one is upstairs in the closet somewhere hidden. Because that's what you start thinking about, who and what I am. So now, closeness, care, protectiveness, and attraction. Wow, close. When most of your day is away from me, I should be happy to see you come, or you should be happy to be around me. But when you run immediately from where I'm at, that closeness is gone. You know, what happened? What happened? And so I get used to you not being there. And it's like, all right, be passing the day. Like I pass my homie in the street. Hey, what's happening? I'm good. And you keep on moving. You know, protectiveness. When you do not protect who I am to you anymore. I'm going to use this analogy. I have planned to say this later on. When people when you're newly in love, let's say that. When you're newly in love with someone and you see them, if someone, because there's always a genesis, there's a person that was there before you were. For those who need to know that Genesis word, or Bereshit, it means in the beginning. Okay, so in the beginning, you had friends before we met. I had friends before you met. But man, if you say something about the person that I'm with when we knew, you will have your head on a platter somewhere. And vice versa. You can't say nothing about the person I'm with. Don't do that. Don't do that. But later on, you be like, yeah, I know. Because all of that protectiveness and everything, all the regards and everything like that, we're in alliance, then we're gonna growl a little bit. When we used to protect each other, we join and enable things that are outside to come inside where we're at. And so now I have become just as bad as the outsider to you, and vice versa. Why? Because the protectiveness is gone. These are all ramifications of what real love is. The closeness, the protectiveness, and the attraction. Wow, I used to make sure I was dope when I came in front of you. Oh, I'm looking good today. I know my baby's gonna love this, but now it's like, yo, I'll step in front of you and you wanna run away from me. Why? because I don't try to be attractive to you, even in what I say, even in how I do it. Like when I used to talk to you so well, and when I used to open up the door for you, when I used to, bring flowers because I know you like flowers and stuff like that. And now all of a sudden I stopped doing that. That means something happened along the way. That's what happened. Affection and trust. Trust. Woo. That is a big part, and one of the most significant parts of love is trust. When you lose your trust, that ahava, it starts to die down in everywhere, because I can't trust you with my life. I can't trust you with my love. I can't trust you with my spirit. I cannot trust you with my heart. I cannot trust you with my secrets. I cannot trust you with my money. I cannot trust you with what is yours. Because when I lose my trust, that means you can do anything to impose and oppose what we had. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump to part of this song real quick, and then I'm going to come back to where I'm at. Listen to the words. It said, for a while, to love was all we could do. We were young and we knew, and our eyes were alive. Deep inside, we knew our love was true. For a while, we paid no mind to the past. We knew love would last. Every night, something ain't right. We invite us to begin the dance. Something happened along the way. What used to be happy is sad. Something happened along the way, and yesterday is all we had. That's that song, After the Love Is Gone. And so when you think about those words, they said for a while, to love is all we could do. It was all we could do. You know what I mean? We were young and we knew in our minds, in our eyes, were alive. You know what I mean? Only thing I could see was you. Love was alive. It was visible. It was tangible. Even if I didn't feel you, it was tangible in my spirit to you. For a while, deep inside, we knew love was true. We paid no mind to the past. How all of these things happening? Like, guess what? When somebody now, you know what? I remember when you used to do this, because sometimes we store things in our library when I get mad at you books that we can pull out from the reference when you get me upset. Then I'll pull out the past when the past didn't matter before. It didn't matter before. But now this is what we have established. Let me go to my library. Well, what about when you did this? What about when you did this to me? Let me pull out my book, because I got it written down. I remember when you did this on this day, this time, and everything else. What? Because we make a library of the things that irritate us instead of trying to resolve it, or try to find the resolution from someone that can help, seeking wise counsel. It was worth that before. But now, only thing I want to be is right. I can't accept the fact that I was wrong, because it makes me seem like I'm another person than I was in the beginning. So something happened along the way. What happened? What happened? Yesterday is all we had. Yesterday, all the thoughts of yesterday makes me sad today because I see no tomorrow. So what happens when the love is going? When it's going down, like when it's getting drear, like the vision of what they call a ghost. When the spirit, I'm telling you the difference between the spirit and the ghost. A spirit is not visible. As we know, ghosts, you can pretty much see. I can feel your spirit, whether you're there or not. But when I'm used to seeing you and you become as a ghost to me, then you're very drearily seen, very dim to me. And so now our love is a ghost, when our love used to be a spirit. It used to be the spirit and the action of what we wanted, what we desired. But something happened along the way. Again, what used to be happy is sad. Okay, so again, love being the noun, it's very easy to say um, love because when you say it all the time, it turns into cliche. Like, stop saying love to me all the time when you're not doing love. I can say that all the time, but I don't feel that. And then we forget the love language. What is love to you? What is love to you? You know what I mean? I can show you what I think love is, because to me, love is my respect and my cup of coffee. You love me. I'm a very simple person. You know what I mean? So that's like, if you love me, do something. You know, I like little gadgets or whatever like that. You see my little microphone thing that, that's love to me. Hey, I got something for you like that. You don't have to present things, but the fact that you respect what I like and you consider that in what you do, I'll feel love all day long. And guess when those flowers are going to come? Every day, because I know I matter to you, as opposed to those shoes that one is in the basement and one is in the attic. And the same to you. You may need to hear that love. You may want me to embrace you. What is your love language, as opposed to me speaking to you and the word language or lotion, and what I know? If I speak French and you speak Spanish, then I'm not saying what you're saying. And you're not understanding what I'm saying, even though I know what I mean and I know what I meant by it, but you don't know what I mean and you don't know what I meant by it. What good is it when I'm not speaking your language and expecting you to accept what I'm saying the way that I said it or meant it? It's worth nothing. It is like a wet $12 food stamp. It has no value. It's not monopoly money. When your love becomes monopoly money, that means it is not spendable. And guess where we go? To jail, directly to jail, directly to jail. And so we need to start understanding, what is love to the other person. I cannot get love, which is the verb, but I can hear love when you say it as a noun, and it means nothing to me, because that noun, I've been hearing that, since forever. And once again, like I said, I love my coffee. So we supposed to grow together in life, and I'm loving you like a cup of coffee? Love me, like the bard said, in a special way. You know what I mean? I'm a music person. Y'all know I'm gonna bring up some music. But you gotta love me the way that I know your love is dear. And again, Aretha Franklin, because I'm a music person again, ain't no way for me to love you if you don't let me. Don't be rejecting my love and expect for me to keep giving it to you, because soon the taste of you for me in my mouth is going to go down, and yours for me, because love is not what it is. You used to embrace my love. You used to enhance my love. Yo, we used to get down like this. We used to act like that. We used to even sometimes do the stupid thing and dress up the same way. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it used to be that to us, but it's not like that anymore. Why? Because even as stupid as it is, and I know we've all done it sometime or another, it shows uniformity. It shows unity. It means we represent each other. If I'm looking for you, I know where to find you, because you got on the same exact thing that I have on, because we're together. We're in agreement. And two cannot walk together except they agree. So we're saying all the genesis of what love was. But there's something that happened along the way, like the words say in this song, what used to be happy is sad. Like all the regards that I show for you on yesterday, all the mannerism that I used to speak with on yesterday, all the heartfelt things that I used to do on yesterday. The only thing you have to refer to me for something good is what yesterday was. And so the song says, yesterday is all we had. Things started changing. Things started feeling different, because something happened along the way. Along the way. Usually and truthfully, relationships start when we have naysayers. We always have naysayers because we have people in our lives that have spoken against us since before we met the person that we decided that we want to be with. And trust me, some of them don't get anything but worse. They'll say nay, 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 nay to everything that you want to do. And again, like I said before, it's like, no, don't say that. But if, like I said, protectiveness, if there's no protectiveness and you allow that person to keep speaking negativity about me to you or vice versa, if I'm doing that, then that means I'm your enemy just like they are. And so when we entertain things and it seems to be innocent because, well, I didn't say it, you entertained it. And why does somebody, I don't care how somebody outside feels about me, but why do they feel like they can address you about me with negativity? Because we allow it. Because something happened along the way, and yesterday is all we had. You know what I mean? So I'm going to open the floor for some people to speak in a few minutes. I want to still get a little bit of format on, okay? Usually in the relationships, like I said, the naysayer was there. Plus, we have become enablers for anybody who says nay. Do not enable the enemy. Do not enable your enemy, because most of the time, people are only speaking negativity because they don't want you to have what you deserve or what you need. If you look like you're going to do better than what I'm doing, or you look like you're going to be happy, because some people only like you when you're going through bad things, because that means it can make it seem like I'm doing better than you. As long as you can always look up to me, I'm feeling really good. You know, and so that's an issue that we'll face as long as we have people that are in our past that live in our yesterday address while we move to our tomorrow address. You know, they're going to be able to come to your yesterday address in your tomorrow life. But see, when we move to our tomorrow, yesterday address goes back to the sender. Return to the sender. You know, go back to the sender. When we start saying, I don't live there anymore, send all that negativity back, then guess what? It won't touch our home where I'm at today. And my tomorrow will be good, because I'm not accepting that mess from yesterday. I'm not. Because we can only grow if we move out of yesterday, because our future is not behind us. Now, anyone that can breach, I have my little format before I go to the conversation. Anyone that can breach or knows that they can come between your relationship is going to continually peel at it. They're going to continually go at it. When they know that they can come between you and your other, or your job, or your children, or your mother, or your father, as long as they know they can breach what you have together and weaken the bond, they're going to keep doing it until you break. Why? Because it's not me. But we'll see if those same people who try to breach what you have will let you breach theirs. And you can bet that it won't happen. Some people won't even tell you about their issues, but they will make sure that they try to get into yours. Why? Why? Because success is not a good thing. Joseph, his brothers, threw him in the pit because he was loved by his father. And if we look at it, those boys were Leah's sons who did that to him. Those were Leah's sons who threw him in a ditch. Why? Because it looked like he's having more love. It looks like he's getting more attention than we're getting. Those were Leah's children who threw Rachel's son in a ditch. You know, and many times we have those Leah's children, or those Leah outside that's supposed to be family, but really don't have any regard for you so much that I'll throw you in a ditch because you're being loved. And it wasn't because you're better. It was because the person that gave life to you was a miracle. She was barren before. So you were a miracle child to me. Not that you were better. It's just the dynamics of things were different. You are a miracle to my life. And when we find that miracle love, that miracle job, that miracle person, that miracle child, whatever it is, then people who were there that are still loved, but were not as miraculous, in their coming as you are, then they're going to get jealous. And what are they going to do? Throw you in the ground and leave you for dirt. Leave you for dead, and even throw blood on your coat and say, man, our brother's dead. Some lions got to you, so I'm going to lie and say lions devoured him or whatever like that, and that was blood that I put on there. We have to get to the place that we become Joseph, and the same people that threw us in the dirt are going to have to come for us for grain. Because if we stay true to who we're supposed to be, those same people, those same brothers that threw you in the ground had to come to you for something to eat. And that's what love is supposed to do. It's supposed to let your enemies have to need you. It's supposed to let your enemies have to need you, because people hate seeing what I spoke against come to fruition and be better than what I said that it was. So I'm going to say, on this part, I'm going to take a little pause. I need to get on my computer because this thing is trying to act up, and see who we actually have in case someone wants to speak, or if you're on YouTube and you want to type a comment, then we will accept that. While this computer is loading up, I'm going to go to my next part. When we stop loving each other like we used to, when we're married, or we're with our mates and stuff like that, we start doing things like covering up. We start doing things like hiding ourselves. We start doing things like making sure that we're not seen by the other one, sleeping to my back towards you, when before we used to embrace each other like a pretzel. Trust me, I'm 50 years old. I know how things go. You know what I mean? And it is not, and just to say this is not what I'm saying is happening in my life. I've been living for 50 years. Trust me. And this is because of the same seduction that the enemy, that third party that I said, has spoken hiss into the ear of the person that you're with. And this is what happened with Hawa and Adam. It started with who she was. Eve has begun to listen to the third party, and he seduced her into doing what she vowed not to do. She vowed not to do it. But when that third party got into her ear, then she divorced who she took a vow to and had a love affair with the devil. Internally, he got into her head. And so much that she decided, well, let me do what this person says I'm supposed to, what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? That is not a cool thing. It is not a cool thing, because what happens? The enemy is going to try and get in your ear and do what he did. Now, what happens when you come to bed and you want to cover up? When you come in the room and you want to cover up? That is the same thing that her and Adam did. What happened? I'm going to bring you to Genesis 3:11. It says now that when they realized that they were naked, then they made figs, leaves, and stuff and covered themselves up. And now the Lord comes through, and he asked them where they were. And they said, we heard you come in and we cover ourselves because we were naked. And the Lord was like, oh no, oh no. And he said, Genesis 3:11, he said, who told you you were naked? Have you eaten from that tree that I commanded you not to eat from? And so this is what the man who's supposed to be the head says. The man said, the woman that you put here with me, she gave me from the fruit. But the last part he said, and I ate. So you ate. You want to point it at her. The first thing, the woman, but guess what? I ate. It was put in my mouth. Even if the enemy is spewing, you received it. Even when someone is talking or your heart is talking to you and you listen, the yielding is our fault. The yielding is our fault. And then Elohim said to the woman, what is this that you have done? And the woman said, the serpent deceived me. And then what she said, and I ate. So you put it on the devil. Again, that pointing finger thing is not my fault, it's their fault. But who ate? I ate. So now the Lord Elohim said to the serpent, because you have done this, cursed shall you be above all the livestock and wild animals. Now notice this, that the serpent didn't blame anybody. He was 100% truthful with what he did. Yeah, I did it. Wow, got nothing to lose. But I made them listen. So I want to ask this, I had to ask this to myself. Like, we say things like the devil is a liar. Is he really a liar, or is he able to make us lie? Because most of the time, even though the Bible says he's the father of lies, most of the time, thank you. Somebody said, Pastor Yolanda, I'm loving this teaching. Thank you so much. When the devil says, oh, I got the speaker on. Let me turn this mic on. Be quiet. Now the thing comes on. There you go. And so now, like I said, when we are seeing these things, if we have someone who wants to speak, we are going to allow you to say something on what I've taught you so far. I see my sister Evelina. I see Yadidia. I see, wow, hey, how is everybody? I know my sister April's on there somewhere too. I think she's on YouTube, but thank you to my family. I love you guys. I'm grateful that we have become family the way that we are. So I'm going to, right now, I'm just going to let you say something before I go to my next part, because there are some things that I need to uncover. So I'm going to, if you want to come to the stream, if you don't have to, but I'm going to add you to the stream so you can have something to say, in case you do. I have added, okay, there you go. Hi, Evelina. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. This computer, boy, like the word says, when I would do good, evil is present. It did that last time. This is why I'm doing it from my phone, because I knew that was going to happen some way or another. But I'm going to get her back. I'm going to get her back. And the next time I'm going to do this, I'll schedule it through Zoom, so we don't have these problems. Like all these new high-tech things that they don't do anything but mess up things and try to pretty much make things look bad when they say they're the best and they're the worst. But back while I'm waiting to the part of this lesson, when we decide to eat of it, the devil didn't say that somebody beguiled him. It didn't say somebody did this, you know what I mean? He's not a lie. He didn't lie this time. Even if he's the father of lies, he did not lie. Even when he tempted our Messiah, he tempted him with the true word. And so when we say things like the devil is a liar, is he really the liar, or does he make us the liar? Does he make us be the liar? And so we have to understand that. And I had to ask somebody that I respect their teaching pretty much, and she said pretty much both. Because if he implements our Pastor Shelley Jones, when she said to me, she said once he did allow you to lie, it made him be a liar as well. Why? Because the seed was planted from the Father. You know what I mean? So you can't be of something and not be it as well. So yes, he is a liar, and he is the instigator of lies. The instigator of lies. I'm going to add to the stream. My sister, again, please, if I can get you to, if I can get this to happen. But yes, because he is allowing lies to happen. Hey, Evelyn, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good, good. Of course.
Woo. It kicked her right back off. Let me see if I can look at the guest. Maybe on my phone I can do it. There she is. You know what? Add the stream. I know how to do it on my phone.
Okay. I'm going to say good evening again.
All right.
Okay. So, of course, like you said, being a musical family, and good evening to everyone. I was writing down a couple of things, and my understanding is coming from love on a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought about how you find love.
Right.
And they say love is a two-way street. I found love on a two-way street and lost it on a one-way highway. A one-way highway to me is someone that decides to become selfish.
Yes.
That two-way street means that the other person, whether it be you or the other person, because a lot of times we look outside of ourselves and find fault in others, when there's a mirror that we have to look in first and search ourselves for what we could have done to contribute to what has happened.
Right.
And when we don't accept responsibility, of course, now it's a one-way street because nobody's communicating. So your spouse or your sister, your sibling, your brother, whatever, whomever it is only dealing with their own personal feeling and not expressing what it is. Also, with love, love to me is gained. Respect is number one. Because when you respect someone, everything else falls into play. If you respect them, then they respect you enough to love you and be concerned about what concerns you.
Right.
So that's another point that I wanted to bring up across. And when you spoke on something else. Something happened along the way, your song. And something happened along the way could mean, in my opinion, that the odds of things were open. Like we were young, we were giddy, and all I could see was love and this and that. And all relationships start off that way.
Right.
Oh, I want to talk to you until 3 o'clock in the morning. I have to get up at 4. But then when the reality and the newness wears off, reality sets in. And it's like, I can't be on the phone talking to you till 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't mean that the person doesn't love you, but the reality of it is now I'm tired. I'm not giving my best performance where I need to be. So what I need to do is temper what I'm doing and not just throw everything out to the wind, because now we're older. So as you get older, the eyes open up, wisdom sets in. That's what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to get wisdom day by day. You understand? So I looked at that the same way. Adam and Eve. Eve let Satan tell her to do something else. She let the serpent tell her to do what she wasn't supposed to do. So now their eyes is open, because it's like, okay, the nakedness of it all. Like, oh, we naked.
Yeah.
So it's better to leave things alone sometimes, and sometimes you need to see it for what it is, because he was going to eventually, she was going to disappoint him regardless, whether it was that day or another day.
Right.
But why would you want to stay in a situation that's not conducive to your spirit, number one, because that's what you need in order to flourish. You need your spirit to be correct and exact in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something too, because I was jotting it down, when you mentioned that you would get unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
I would never give anyone the power for me to diminish what I have or what God blessed me with, to bow down like I'd rather not have than to deal with you. No, I'd rather not deal with you and have.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So it's like certain things you have to be able to differentiate what works. I'm not getting unemployment and make me feel like less than a person in order to appease the negativity that you're giving me.
Right.
Put things in a strainer and shake it out. Shake out the strainer.
Yep.
And whatever's left, either you use it or you drink it. The juice is going to fuel you. The garbage that's in it is going to hinder. That's why the strainer is going to hold some of that stuff up in there so it doesn't filter down into what you really need.
Right.
And lastly, maybe it's lastly, I think it is, no one else can be faulted for what someone else allows in their relationship. People only know your business and tell your business when you tell it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you're going to tell a story, tell it to someone that is mindful and wants the best for you.
Yes.
Not just, oh yeah, I'm just going to talk for just to air something out. You can't air things out like that. You cannot. First of all, you should be praying about it, asking for guidance and wisdom to know how to handle it and to approach the person without your emotional part. Because once someone is yelling and saying something negative, you're shutting your ears down anyway. You don't even want to hear it. And when you do those things and put God first, because you're supposed to, when both people check themselves and when they make the other person comfortable enough, because sometimes we make people so uncomfortable that they don't want to talk to us. So it's like, I can't even come to you because the first thing you're going to say is, oh no, you wrong, because that's not what I meant, that. But like you said, verbs and nouns, actions speak louder than words.
Indeed.
And when you do those things, then you can become Ashford and Simpson, solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock.
So that's all I have. Everybody have a good night. I'll be on, but I'm going to be quiet because I know the hour, we like 57 minutes in some odd time seconds in. So I'm going to mute my mic and allow someone else to say anything that they feel that they need to say or what they got out of it.
All right. Thank you. Love you, sis.
Love you too. You're welcome.
Let's go to I have my guest list. Wow, I have Yedidia. If you desire to speak, I definitely would like to get a word from you. Let me see. What is Rosalyn? Oh. All righty. Are you there, bro?
Yeah, here we go. Can you hear me?
How you doing?
All right, I'm doing all right.
Good.
To the day, but I'm doing all right. I thank God for it. One first thing I want to say, I appreciate, in a way, you saying my name, Yedidia.
Yes, sir.
But I pronounce it Jedediah.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
I'm good with either way because, just embracing the Hebrew. Something happened along the way. That must have been the perfect song for this segment, and so I praise y'all for that. That it gave you that. In a couple of things that I learned being married to my wife for 20 something years, that we had to renew. We had talked about this a little bit at the event we were at the other day together,
Right.
and just we have to renew our love because stuff does fade away. Things are not fresh anymore after a while,
Right.
you know, and there's things that you're going to have to renew and some things you got to remove, some things you got to replace, you know. But the main thing is the main thing. You always must keep the love for your spouse. You must figure out how to turn. So there's a thing that we do that I have to do in my garden with my compost, in order to renew it all the time. It's almost like you have to. It's almost like every time I do this thing, the soil changes. It gets fresher. It gets more nutrients are in it. And I think it's the same thing. So I have to turn my compost. I literally got to take a shovel and I have to turn it every week or so, every couple weeks or so that it continues to regenerate and some things decay out, some things renew. So like leaves to break down and things like that. But at the end of it, it becomes a new thing, and it becomes a fresh thing that you can put back into your garden,
Right.
giving it fresh nutrients. It's the same idea. We have to take our relationships, and the more that we grow together, we have to recognize the things that fall off.
Yeah.
But we have to recognize the new things and cultivate those new things so that it can grow into something bigger and better, grow into something more and more. And then once that season's done, throw out the bad, keep the good, do the same thing. Renew. So this teaching is you're basically saying that, and so I really bless y'all for that because that was a very, very good teaching. And I'm just blessed to be on here. That's exactly how you have to do it every single time. Every single time.
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you. Like this is and our new family. I want to hit on the fact that these are my new brothers and sisters that I have thanked the Lord for, people who actually come through, people who actually support you in ministry, people who actually are not in competition with you, but want to magnify what you do or lift up what you do. So I'm most highly grateful to the Most High for that. My sister said something, and she said, "Solid as a rock." And that song, we build it up and build it up. You know what I mean? And that's now we're solid. You know what I mean? When we built that thing up, then we become solid. And like my brother said, like we got to turn that soil over sometimes. We got to turn that soil over sometimes. And guess what makes things grow? Feces.
Yep.
Feces. That's
I was going to use the word decay, but it's the same thing.
Stinky stuff is going to fall on your relationship, nastiness, urine, old spit, and all that kind of stuff. But when you look at it, what you grow is so strong that it breaks the ground that it was on top of it. And, you know, it comes through as something that you're able to put inside your mouth.
Yep.
So you mean to tell me the nasty thing made something that I can actually eat? You know what I mean? But we have to look at and face the facts that like I said, it got to be nasty stuff. It is going to have to be, you know, instead of brushing things over. And like my sister said, when you strain it, what's there is still going to be there. It's still going to be in the, you know, receptive thing. But guess what? I make the best broth after I boil everything off. You know what I mean? And I can use it for other things. I don't just use, you know, chicken broth for this. You know, I could use it for that, for this, for that, for that, for that. But it came from things that had a lot of things in it. And I had to strain it out. And guess what? Now I'm using it for everything because the flavor is good. The flavor is good. And so, yes, even like I had used this analogy before. When I used to live in New Jersey, when I saw birds in dirt, I never knew what that was about. So I thought they were crazy, you know what I mean? And I said, why are birds in the dirt? Like they just flapping in the dirt, flapping in the dirt. And I'm like, these, you know, they crazy over here. And so when I went outside the next day, the birds were flapping in the dirt, flapping in the dirt. And so I went, because I'm like a nerd. I like to try to study stuff to find out what happens. And it says birds get in the dirt and they swim in the dirt because the perspiration from their flight, they're trying to dry it off. And also, when they're standing on the branches of the leaves, their claws get cut. So they're trying to paste together some healing by being in the dirt. So swimming in the dirt, sometimes we got to get dirty to get healed. We got to get dirty to get good results. Otherwise, my fingers would still be bruised. Otherwise, the sweat would be in my eyes and I can't fly. You know what I mean? All these things. Sometimes we got to realize that dirt is where things start from. You know, we were made from dirt. You know what I mean? And in order for the man to get his eyes healed, he got Messiah had to put spit and dirt on his eyes. Spit, heal. Dirt, you know, spit and dirt. You know what I mean? You got the nerve to put that on my eye, but guess what happened? I was able to see after that. You know what I mean? And so when we look at things from the positive aspect, I'm going to have to do this on a series because I don't like to try to take up a whole lot of time because I don't want people to not want to come back because it's too long. But like I said, I'm gonna leave this at this part. Okay. I have gone through some dirt and I have gotten my harvest. I have gone through the strain and I have gotten my broth. You know, I have gotten all of the things from going through the process. When we're able to get the process, go through the process, then we're able to get the progress. But it begins from the process. If I'm not willing to go through the process and everything seems like I said, my sister reiterated, you know, I'd much rather have unemployment than to work at this job. You know what I mean? When you give up like that, then you lose out. Because guess what? Like I said, you were getting advantages, you were getting advances, you were getting promotions, and it didn't seem like as much as what you had to toil through to get it. Because to him, much is given, much is required. You're going to have to go through some things to get what you want. You're going to have to deal with that. And everything is not the love gone, it's how it is seen to you from your eyes. You know what I mean? And yes, we're not always with the right person, but those are things that we have to figure out before we say, I do. This is what happens before I do want to be your man. I do want to be your boyfriend. I do want to be your employee. I do want to be your husband or your wife, whatever it is. Before you say I do, you have to consider things. And when you do, you have absolutely no excuse to breach what you should be doing. You know what I mean? Because you accepted that. So now here we are. Only thing we should do is make it work. You know what I mean? Make it work. And so, yes, it is due, you know, that got to be put on us. You know what I mean? It is the nastiness and all that kind of crazy stuff that we're going to have to deal with sometimes. We're going to have to deal with it. It's going to happen. But we're going to get to the solutions parts of the Genesis part. Because, again, like I was saying in the beginning, I want to see what something happened along the way. What was the something that happened along the way? What was it that made you say, you know what, I'm going to do this instead of what I should be doing? What was the something that put, you know, is not as fun as it used to be. It's boring to me. I want to do something else. I don't care to be here anymore. I'd much rather go somewhere else. What is the something that we gave into that made us only see what was good on yesterday? You know, and so that is definitely what we have to look at. And so I was trying to see if I see some of our guests. Let me see if I can see. I was trying to find Rosalind, but she, let me see. I can't find. All right. Well, I thank you all for coming out on this evening, and I'm going to continue this because we need to get to solutions. Now we know the problem. Now we need to find our solution, and so that is definitely what you want to find to do. We didn't come to complain. We didn't come to talk. You know, talk about things that we cannot fix, but we want to address things that we can fix and that the enemy does not want you addressed, because it's better for him that you're going through issues than that you're able to overcome issues. And we're supposed to be able to overcome. We're here to psychologically help people, to spiritually help people, to embrace people and understand them. And then when we can do that, then we can be better people generally. Better people. I took these psychology classes in school, and I was able to understand me. And so I had to start evaluating my issues, you know, pain that I was dealing with, depression that I was dealing with, oppression that I was dealing with. It was like, yo, that's me. That's me. And when you feel like you're the teacher or the doctor, then you don't think that, people don't think that you need healing too. You know what I mean? Like, guess what? I need healing too. You know, the doctors have to go to doctors, you know, so we definitely have to understand that. And so I want to say to you, all who came out on this evening, that we bid you grace, mercy, and peace, and we love you, and we will see you on the next go round. I will make sure that we will begin from where we left off, and that we will go to our solutions. Hopefully we will see you on this next time. If not, you can find our broadcast on YouTube. It is going to be posted by tomorrow because it automatically updates. And we thank you again. And so, before the love goes out, let's find a way to retrieve or salvage what is usable there and strain it out. Like my sister said, you know, eat the meat, spit out the bones. You know what I mean? Use what can be regenerated again and rehash that. My brother said, don't make things get old. Don't allow them to get old. Start again. It's the same dirt. Just turn it over. Just turn it over, you know? So we will see y'all on next week. Love you guys. We want to see you back on the Lions Den. I'm Benjamin Gaines, and shalom. Have a good evening.